Okay.
Hold on a second here. Okay, we are recording. Go.
Okay. Are you seeing my screen here for the account management?
All I see is a screen that says SCM Globe Web Q&A session, so it doesn't look like the screen is shared yet.
Oh, here we go. Let's see.
Yeah, it was showing Michael's screen.
All right. And now, Steve, is your screen live?
No, we're still seeing yours.
Maybe I need to make you presenter as well. So. Oh, there we go.
Okay, I'm the new presenter.
You're
okay.
The new presenter, yep.
And so, now, are you seeing my account management screen?
Yep, I am.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Welcome to the SCM Globe question and answer period. And we are going to start off here on the account management page. I take it that everyone knows how to sign in, but we will go over quickly. Up the upper right corner, view library. You can import the Cincinnati Seasonings case study and name it whatever you'd like. I'm going to put Cincy in here. That's all I'm going to put. Make it quick, and we'll save it. I'll go back to my account page, and there it is. Appears right up in the top. All we do is click Edit. It'll move us right into the edit, and of course, everyone knows we have products, facilities, vehicles, and routes on the right-hand side. This is all very modular and very easy. We have Spicy Cube. We click on it, and you can see some of the particulars regarding it. And right now, you're going to use the defaults that are provided, I believe. Frank can confirm that. But we have one product, which is really a pallet, a 1 cubic meter pallet of a mix of spices. We have a few facilities, including a distribution center here, Seasonings DC, and a factory that's manufacturing it. We have the routes, and routes are associated with facilities. Vehicles are associated with facilities, and in this particular instance, we have a set of vehicles at the distribution center. We also have a vehicle associated with the factory. If we click on the factory truck, it's going to show the factory, and it will show the route there. If we zoom in enough, you get to see the route. So it's just connecting the factory to the distribution center. If we go back to facilities, and we go to vehicles, we'll go back to the distribution center, go down to vehicles, check out each truck. It's going to show you the route that each truck is utilizing, and so we can see that for each one. Truck 4 it's called a milk run, or a hub and spoke, goes around, and we have another truck. 2 trucks, looks like 2 trucks. Trucks 1 and 2 both go to the same place. If we check out the routes, Cincinnati Louisville is the one we're looking at there. It tells us the distance, the time, and limit on the carry volume. That's the size of the truck. And so, as you saw, there's distinct information for each vehicle. I can go back to that and show you that we have truck 2 is a small truck, has a carry volume of 40 cubic meters and a maximum weight of 4,000 kg. It also has a delay between the departures down here at the bottom, and that tells you it's 20 hours. So the cycle time is, if everyone's read the introduction and using the models, you'll know that the cycle time is the delay between departures plus the road time. So this is why you will find that it's not always 100% predictable when your truck is going to arrive. Anyway, I will. So now you've seen the basic components. We go up here. We have one tab open here on the top. When I press simulation over here, where the second tab opens. Once the whole supply chain is painted on the map, we can look at play. Push play, and it's going to begin tracing out the routes. This is how it runs. On the right, you can look through the various. Okay, so we immediately run into an error, and the error is not enough storage capacity in the Fort Wayne store. And you'll see that the error is on the bottom right, so you don't lose it when you can't do anything when it appears until you click OK. Once you click OK, it appears down here in the bottom right corner, so you don't lose it. So not enough storage and capacity in the Fort Wayne store. We look over here at the Fort Wayne statistics, and we see that it's only capable of holding 850. It's delivered 860. So we can go back here to our edit screen and indeed go over here to our facilities, go to the Fort Wayne store, and the very quick and easy solution for the moment, just to experiment with the system and get familiar with it, is to throw in double the amount of space so we don't run out of the space. This is not your most efficient answer, but it will get us going in finding out what's going to happen next, and it'll give you some idea of how the whole system is working. So we can go back to in the top left, we'll go back to the simulation. We go over here and we push reload. Once we reload, we can push play again, and we'll see if we've answered that particular problem. So the whole idea here is that you're going to be balancing the various components or entities and their interaction. It's we can as it's running, we can start to look and see the trajectories that are associated with each particular location. You can see that here we're increasing our available our on-hand inventory. At another store, we're increasing it. If we go back to the factory, it's increasing at the factory. But if we go down here to the distribution center, it looks like we're running down in the distribution center. So you can click back and forth through again with Spicy Cube, and actually we've run out. Previously we ran out of space. This time we've run out of product. And click OK again. It appears down in the bottom corner, so you don't lose it. Bottom right corner, so you don't lose it. Look left, you can see that it looks like we're short 20 pretty quickly here. So let's take a look at the Louisville store. Now we can see here, yeah, we're running down at there's 340, 280, so demand appears to be going down fairly quickly. We're delivering some, but we're not delivering enough, clearly. So demand is 100 a day. If we take a look at what we're delivering, we need to find we need to go to the DC, and then whoops, let's see. I actually need to go to the edit screen to do this. We need to go to the DC, find the vehicle that's servicing that one, and let's see. Looks like it's 4. Is that right? Are we getting Louisville? No, we're not getting Louisville. So it is Indianapolis. Whoa. Where are we? There. Okay, so well, hang on 1 second. I've lost myself. We're got to go back to the other screen here. We've run out of Spicy Cube at the Louisville store, so let's just check Louisville store. Indeed, we did run out. Louisville store, and so it's Cincinnati to Louisville here is the route. We need to find a truck that's servicing that. Which will be from the DC. So let's look at these again. Okay, so we have a truck one running down to Louisville, and if I recall correctly, truck 2 also runs down to Louisville. So we have some information here. If we take a look at truck 2, it's a small truck, it's carrying 40, and has a max weight of 4,000. So it's running every 20 hours, and we know that we can look up the route here real quick and see what the time is. Time is 3.8 hours, so basically 4 hours. So every 24 hours, just under 24 hours, this is running. Anyway, we have a demand, if we recall correctly, of a 100 down there, and we're running a truck 2 is a small truck, and we're running truck 1. It's also a small truck. Each of these has a max capacity of 40. So even if you add the 2 of those together, we're not delivering enough per day. So I think that at this point, you have an idea of how to analyze this and how to, begin to juggle the pieces. So I'm going to ask if anybody has any particular questions. If they put them in the chat, I guess we can discuss them. But I'm only giving you a very fast intro on
Steve,
how the entities.
Steve, Mike here, and I have a question. What would we do? How would we solve this problem of not enough product getting down to Louisville? What are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, we can easily adjust the trucks. You have an opportunity here to look at a large truck. Let's just scan a large truck really quickly here and see that it actually has a carry volume of 110. Since we're only using 1 cubic meter for per spicy cube, we need 100. This will handle 100, and so we could deliver 100 once every 24 hours with this particular truck. Actually, not with this particular truck delayed at 22. We'd have to move it down to 20, but we can go ahead and make it a large truck and deliver every 24 hours, and that should work. So let's try that.
See what happens.
And so what will happen is I'm also delivering 20 with truck 2. This is no longer needed, so we can go ahead and just click remove, and it's going to take away that 20. It's going to take away the truck, it's going to take away the route, and it'll take away that delivery of 20. So we can then go ahead and go back to our sim tab, come up here and reload. Once we've reloaded, we can actually speed it up a little bit here. We'll just make it run a little bit faster. And as you do the iterations, you'll be able to use even the fastest so that you can get through them quickly. We'll play it, and it's going to head into the next challenge. So let's take a look here. The Indianapolis store is still building. The DC is we're still running it out on the factory. Whoops, let's see. So we've run out of spicy cube in the Louisville store. So maybe I didn't solve that problem. Let's take a look here at the Louisville store, see what happened. Did I forget to press update? I may have. let's take a look here. Let's go back to what size truck did we put on there. Let's look at the DC. Let's look at our truck 1. We did do, it did take large truck. It did change the delay to 20. But I didn't change the delivery, of course. That's what it is. Okay, so we have to go down to the routes. I failed to update my delivery. You must update the delivery. The drop quantity becomes 100. Update. And this should provide us with a proper solution. So as you can see, it's easy to forget to put in the correct steps, but it's pretty easy to analyze and figure out what you've failed to do if you look through the modular elements in order. And I'll go really fast this time. And so then you have an opportunity to just try it again really quickly, make sure it's working properly, and move on to the next trouble point, which should show up any minute here, because there are several built in. So now we've run out of storage space in the factory. This is probably not too much of a surprise, because we saw that, you know, the factory inventory here has been rising the whole time. If we check out the DC, the inventory has been shrinking the whole time. So we don't have a balance going there. We certainly have a balance going. We were delivering, the demand was 100, and we satisfied it by supplying 100. So we have a good balance here. We have a safety stock of about well, plenty, that's for sure. That could be worked on later. You could shrink that safety stock down enough so that it's more efficient. We're still building up product in our Indianapolis store, and of course looks like we're building up product so in the Fort Wayne store. So there's very much a need here to balance out a few things. Obviously the factory is punching out is punching out many more than are actually being taken over to the DC, and so you have an opportunity to balance this out, and then balance out your deliveries to the stores so that you're not going to fill them to capacity and beyond. So let's check and see if there's any other questions.
Frank, is there anything? Yeah.
Well, I was going to mention for the ASCM 629 class members, the first week is primarily just trying to familiarize yourself with this model, how to do some of the things that Steve has demonstrated, and understand the basic portions of a supply chain network. So the first week's assignment is to try to get the logistics network to run for about 30 days without running out of product or stopping. You can see how we've illustrated, I guess, 2 or 3 situations where it's gone several days and then it's stopped, and then that's fixed, and then it goes a few more days and stops. So the objective at this point is to try to keep the network operating for 30 days. And at this point, for this first week, there is no need to go ahead and try to worry about cost. You can add capacity, you can add transportation, shipping volume, and whatever you need to do without any regard to cost, just so that you familiarize yourself and see what it takes to get the network to function for 30 days. And then after that point, in successive weeks, there are assignments where you may add a store, you may try to add a product, you may be trying to increase the efficiency of the network. And so the general purpose of all of those, or the general objective, is that you're going to try to do what you can to get things to run more optimally than what they are doing, where you didn't worry about costs at all. So where you see buildups of inventory, you'll be going through, hopefully in a systematic manner, trying to figure out how you improve it so that you're reducing excess inventory and removing excess costs from the logistics network while still keeping it function for 30 days. One other thing that I think Michael and Steve will echo is the rationale for 30 days is that usually supply chain networks are fairly dynamic. You have seasonal changes. You may be in the real world introducing new products or phasing out old products. And so trying to optimize or make a network run for more than 30 days, really, for example, trying to get it to run for 6 months or a year, isn't very realistic in the commercial world because you've got shorter planning horizons. We'll talk about in the class that you have strategic decisions where you're making basic decisions, for example, of where you locate a distribution center or what transportation mode you use, such as rail or highway or air. And then within that, and really getting down to the essence of this particular logistics model, is you're focusing on the tactical responses that after you've made those long-term strategic decisions, what do you need to do in the short run to make the network run effectively for shorter time frames, such as 30 days. Those are tactical responses. So anyway, I just wanted to take that moment to explain. A lot of this may seem overwhelming at the very beginning. If you read the user guide and the frequently asked questions, as well as maybe look at this recorded video one more time, I'll post the link a few days from now. And then just with the first week, just go in and do whatever you need to do to run the model so that it runs for 30 days without regard to cost. You'll be well on the road for understanding what you need to do during the following weeks. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Steve.
Steve,
and any other questions you may have posted.
And Steve, why don't you click on the help button and just show people quickly?
Yeah, I do. I will, Mike. I do that at the end, so everybody knows exactly where to go. So what I'm going to show you next is one of the challenges that's going to come up is you're going to need to add a new facility. So it's very easy. As you've seen, everything's modular. So we're just going to go to facilities. We want to add a new one. We're just going to click new, and we need to define it. So we'll just put Chicago store. And I'm just going to show you how to do this generically. There with the particular case study, there is some specific information, but I'm just going to give you generic right now. So I go down here. We've put in this is going to be a Chicago store. We picked the store. The store has default values in it. I believe in this case study there are particular values that you're going to put into here. So it's very easy. You just go ahead and backspace and put in your new information. Once you put in your new information, if you click save, which I will do here, it's going to tell me I've made an error. So I have no product, so that's error number one. Let me click on product, and we're only using the spicy cube. Let's say demand per day is the 70. There's particular information associated with this particular store in this particular case study, but I'm not going to go look that up. I'm just going to add this for ease of showing you. So if I click save, error number two. I forgot to actually put my store on the map. So I just say okay. I need to go ahead and get over here to Chicago and zoom in. And again, there's particular information associated with this particular store, but for the sake of speed of showing you this, I'm just going to continue to zoom in here, and I'm going to pick what would probably be a reasonable building here. Well, I'm going to switch to the satellite view to pick that particular, let's see, there we go, try to pick that particular store. And really this is downtown high-rises. But I see there's a Walgreens and a Starbucks in this big building here. There's a Subway and a Dunkin' Donuts. So there's a lot of retail down here in the lower floor on the street. We'll just park it right here and say this particular building is where the location will be, and we'll click Save. So now we have a store up in Chicago, and you can see it here, top of the list. If I go down to my distribution center here, which is where the vehicles are, I can go here to vehicles, and I have the opportunity to add it to the existing, an existing truck, or I can create a new truck. Let's just create a new truck. So we'll go over here and put in Chicago, or we'll put in Cincy, Chicago, just to name it very quickly, and you can use whatever names you'd like. Oh, that is not Cincy, but son of a gun. Having so much trouble here. Anyway, everybody knows what it is. We're going to throw a large truck at it, and we're going to then create a route for it. So right now it has no delay. It has no hours between departures, so it would have run in a continuous loop. For the moment, we'll just put in here maybe 10 hours. Because I don't have a route on there yet, I'm not sure what the run time is, so I don't know the frequency yet. But you can come back and edit it at any time. Anyway, we have Cincy, Chicago highlighted. We go to the route. There's no route, so we need a new route. We click on New again. It comes up. This is our Cincy, Chicago. And then we're going to go down here, and the Chicago store already appears there, but all your stops are available there. So anyway, we've identified this one. To the route, and then we need to add our product to the actual delivery. So we'll deliver the 70 that we need daily. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so what the runtime is 10 and a half hours. So I'm going to deliver every 20 and a half hours with the 10 I put as the delay time. That should suffice. Eventually, obviously, there'll be a slight build in the inventory because I'm going to be delivering more frequently than every 24 hours. But we may even be able to make it through the 30 days without overwhelming the storage. We can always go back and check that as well. Well, storage capacity here, let's see, what is our storage capacity yet? Whoops, yeah, okay, so now we have a route. We can go back here to facilities and just check quickly what is our Chicago store capacity. Max store capacity is 500, so it's not really going to be a problem. We may have a different problem because not sure. We have 100 on hand. We should be fine. That should cover us for the first day that it takes the truck to get up there. So we'll just run this very quickly to take a quick look at how that goes. And we may not run into any problems other than the one we already know about here. But we'll just see if the Chicago store is working properly.
for refresh, let me just mention a couple of things. There seems to be a lag between what you say, Steve, and sometimes what appears on the screen. It may be in the future we need to do a little slower pace between the talking and the illustration, just so that the screen is keeping up with what you're saying. Other thing is, I recall that there's a general guidance that you ought to refresh your screen between runs, because otherwise you may not necessarily see the changes that you've saved and you're planning on running. You might clarify that if that's a correct understanding.
Yeah, no, we pretty much have done that. We've automated that. The reload of the supply chain when you move back and forth between the two tabs in the upper left, and right now I'm in the right-hand tab, which is the informational and SIM tab, and then I'm going to move over here to the left-hand tab. The left-hand tab is where your information editing occurs. So when I go back over here to the right-hand tab, the SIM tab, and I go back over here to the reload supply chain, that automatically updates the entire sequence, both your edit screen and your SIM, and then it runs it. So only if you were to sort of run across an anomaly would you want to go back. Would you want to go ahead and use the semicircle here to update your screen and make sure you're fully caught up on both screens. It's only occasional that there's a problem with this. If for some reason there was an interruption in the signal when it was loading or something, you might have a difficulty. But for the most part, the reload is going to work each time for you. So I want to point out a couple other things that are available to you. Okay, this ran into the same problem at the factory. We knew that problem was there. That's still something you have to work on. But clearly the Chicago store is working. Let's just take a quick look at it. And so yes, we did have we did deliver our 70 on day one, and then our inventory stayed up at that level because we were delivering it every day. So we have a functioning store there, and we had 500 storage, so even if we bump up another 70, we're not going to have a problem. It looks like we made it to day 6. We haven't bumped up again. We may bump up a couple more times, but probably would make it under the 500 for the full 30. Not exactly the most efficient way to operate your store with an increasing inventory, but you can work on balancing that. That's part of your assignment. So, but to take a look at this, if you wanted to get a little more detail, you can go to Export Results here, and it's to any spreadsheet. It says to Excel, but it's to any spreadsheet. And you click on this, it's going to download it for you. You'll see it in the bottom left here. And so I can pop it up for you. It's just going to be a spreadsheet that has all of the data on it. And let me see. Not sure why it didn't pop up here. Here, I'm not sure why I'm not getting it to. Okay, let's just go. Let's see what we can do here. Did it open behind this? Nope. All right, well, I'm not sure why it's not opening. But it simply has the products on it, your locations, all the information on it. And so that's one way to get into analysis a little further down the road. I have no idea why that does.
Steve, why don't you look in your download file and just
yeah, let me see if I can.
It's in your download file.
Yeah, let me try that again, because it should just pop up. Here we go. Let's see.
Your spreadsheet app might not be. Is your spreadsheet app active?
Well, I should. Downloads. I think that it's not liking that I'm using the GoToMeeting at the same time here.
Well, just show people in your download. Click on the file folder there, and just show people. Yeah, click on that and just show people it's in the download file. And
It's using File Explorer here to open it for some reason. Here we go. Okay, so now okay, so I'm going to haul it over here really quickly. You can see that it's right here at the top. Simulation results. Try that. See if we can pop it open. But anyway, it's there. I think my PC is just being slow because we're doing the broadcast simultaneously here. It's very slow to open it, that's all. But it's your typical worksheet, and it has the same categories that you would see just spread out in a slightly different manner.
What I recommend students to do is after you get to finishing your assignment for a particular week is to download your results into a spreadsheet like this, because during week 10 students will need to prepare a summary paper that looks at their week-to-week changes and how they made improvements and demonstrate really what learning they've received out of this model. And so if they've got the spreadsheet saved for each week, it's going to be pretty easy to, or pretty straightforward. I won't necessarily say easy, but it'll be straightforward to do comparative analysis of your statistics. You can also do graphing to show the changes over time that would be producing improvements. So there's a lot of benefit to going ahead and creating these, doing this download. You don't need to do it with every iteration that you do, but certainly at the end of a week when you reach the conclusion for that week's assignment, to go ahead and save that. And then Mike and Steve, what I also would like to suggest to people is that they actually do intermediate saves of their network and give them names such as week 1, iteration 1, or iteration 2, or iteration 3, because if they go down a path where they suddenly don't like the results, it's easy enough for them to go back to an earlier save state of what they did with the model and start with that and then do another branch, you know. So I'm not really concerned about how they do the naming convention, but in addition, I think they ought to save at least one file for each week of their save state, and in fact they may find it to their advantage to create several save states during the course of doing their work, so that if they reach a dead end or they have a problem, they don't have to redo everything. They can go back to an earlier version. Along with that, I do recommend that each student create a JSON file, and if you can explain that and illustrate how that's done, I think that would be good, as well as illustrating how they sort of save intermediate stages of a network.
Right. Okay. So right now I'm here in the sim screen, which is the upper is the right tab, the upper part of the screen, which I'm assuming everybody can see that, right? It says SCM Globe Online up top, and I'm in the right-hand one, which is of course where we can reload and play. So this is the sim screen. If I go to the upper left, I'm back in my edit screen. When you get to the end of the week and you're satisfied with your product, you want to come over here to options, and one of the options is save here. So if you want to go ahead and click save. It's going to let's see what happens here. My PC seems to be operating pretty slowly. Let me go back to my account here and see see what's going on here. Let me try that one more time. I may not have hit it correctly. Hit save. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my account and see if I think what I've done is I have now gone ahead and saved.
If you look
this.
down your save states.
Right, I've saved my Cincy.
All the way down at the bottom of the save states.
Right. So I saved it twice. I clicked on it because I thought it was going to ask me to name it, but it didn't. So anyway, it's going to go ahead and save it exactly the way you have it at that point. Now, another way to do that, and so is go ahead and come back to your account screen here and click Save. This way is a better way to do it. Probably shouldn't have shown you the first one. This one you can put on here Cincy, week 1. So that way you can identify it and then leave this here. It has this in it, but you save that. It's going to come down here, and now I've added Cincy 1, week 1. So you can always you start on week 2, you run into a disaster, you can come back here and restore Cincy week 1, and it's going to put you in the position that we're in right now. This one up here, if you were to go into week 2 editing it, you're going to start with that finish of week 1, but you're going to be modifying it. So this one down here, you're not modifying until you restore and put it up above. Does everybody get that? Are there any questions with regard to that? It's a very important distinction, so to make sure that you can properly label them and make sure that you can recover if you have a problem.
Comment, which I think is pretty much what you just illustrated. What you do is if you save an iteration at various points, instead of just saying week 1, you'll say version 1, version 2, version 3 for each time that you save it. And, later on you can clean house and delete the versions you don't need. But in the meantime, while you're working on things, if, again, you are making changes and you do several changes and you don't like the way that's turning out and you want to back up to what you started with, you can go back to the earlier version that you've already saved. So I believe you've illustrated exactly how to do that. And then the other thing would be how you create a JSON file, this JSON file.
Right. Okay. So yeah, if you were to be editing, the version up here, say in your second week, so you're continuing on in the second week by editing this one, but you had a disaster, you would come back down here to your end of week 1, the clean end of week 1. You would press restore. This will put it back up at the top here. So now you're going to see
it's at the bottom.
Cincy week 1, and you can, when you click on this, it's going to load, and it's going to look exactly like what you've already seen. Okay, it's going to load back up here, and because I do not want to just slip over to the previous one, you would use simulation here because we're doing a new start. Okay, so you would click simulation, it's going to load it, and then it's going to be ready to run it. You would just click play, and we would come to the exact same spot that we were at when we just finished. So now let me go back to my account, because the question here was how do you share JSON files, or how do you provide them to Frank? And essentially right here, you can download the last one that you've saved. Okay, so right here and I'm pausing for a second so everybody can see, download save state. We're going to push the button, and it became Cincy Week 1 JSON. You see it on the bottom left here. Okay. You can then go in and attach that to an email and send it to anyone that has SCM Globe available to them. If you really receive one of these and you wanted to utilize it, you would go ahead and grab it, and we can roll it up here to, oops, come on, there we go. Drop your file. Drop file here to upload, which is not going to be nearly as far away because you will only have a couple of weeks there, even at the end of the semester, unless you store a whole lot of versions. Drop it on there, okay, and it says that that file has been uploaded, and you say okay, and then we take a look here, and now I have two Cincy Week 1s. Because I didn't change the name, but if you were to receive one from someone else, would obviously, you do restore, it would go back up to the top, you push edit, and you can run it. So those are the easy steps to share or to...
Why don't you show people where that is online in the help?
Well, that's what, yeah, okay, so now we're getting near the end here of our time. So up in the top right-hand corner here, there is, support ticket. If you were to run into a technical problem, you can click on that, fill it out, send it in to us. We will get back to you within 24 hours, usually much, much sooner. But it needs to be a technical problem. We are not here to provide answers to any of the problems that you are that your instructor and professor delivers. His expectation is that you will work through all of those problems. This would be if you were to find something very bizarre happening. Then we'd like you to report it. The View library, there are a whole series of cases here. You're welcome to play with any of them as long as you're not detracting from getting your assignments done. We'd love you to explore them, take a look at them. And then finally, we have a help button here. Everything that I've gone over and everything really that you need to know about the software is available in this under the help button. First of all, there's the getting started here. There are some tutorials that are a quick version of what we've provided here this evening. As Frank said, he's going to provide a copy of this video if you wanted to look at it. We also have...
Click on the help, just click on the getting started right there. Just click on that one. And yeah, go ahead. So
yeah, so then essentially I've gone through the product, facilities, vehicles, routes. You've seen how they're created, but we have an entire step-by-step visual and and verbiage explanation here. So if for some reason you can't figure out, you can't recall what I've said here about how to deal with something, you can walk through this. It's going to tell you exactly how to do it, and it's very succinct. It's very direct, and it has all the visuals, so they match really well. There are many little tricks to the software that make things easier, and so creating a new supply chain from scratch, essentially, there's all the different steps there. So if for some reason you can, this is how you run the sim, which you've already seen. It's pretty easy, and then how to work with case studies gives you some more information. Case studies over here give you about each one of them. You're going to check out Cincinnati Seasonings. Sort of sets the stage and gives you some guidance. Your professor is going to give you more guidance, and he'll give you more clues as things move along. But this will set up.
Click on it.
Okay. This will set up essentially what's going on. It's pretty easy to you know, read the brief here and get into the challenges. So, and again, we give you some good guidance for the initial stage. And then once it gets beyond the initial stage, it's going to be up to the professor to give you further guidance and further challenges. So
click
we
on
have,
click on the getting started. Just go over and click on just click right there.
yeah,
Click right there. Just click right there and scroll down. For everybody on the call, if you go through this and you spend 30 to 60 minutes and you look at these pictures and you read the captions underneath, and then as you keep going down, you're going to find 5 links. And if you just go through those 5 links right there, you go through all those 5 links, you're going to be good to go. If you don't, you're going to, it'll just seem, you know, it'll just kind of be baffling and you won't have a good time. But those are the 5 links.
So answers to the frequently asked questions are very important. These are, you know, we found over the years that these are the most common causes of confusion.
Why don't you click on those and just
familiarizing yourself with those initially will make life easier.
Go ahead and click on those, and we'll just.
I'm trying to. Whoa, it's moving too fast. There we go. Okay, so it's, you know.
We don't have to read them all, but just they're all there, and you don't have to read anything. You don't have to do anything at all, but we're just trying to make life easy, and then you'll have more fun. So everything you need to know is in those 5 links, and the frequently asked questions is one of the links, and or you can get to any of the help material. There's 100 different ways. You can start with the table of contents. We have links throughout, so. If you're coming up against a problem, check out the Getting Started, check out the FAQs. If you click on the user guide, you can quickly scroll through and see everything at a glance. When you click on the up at top, Steve, that if you go back up to the menu bar on the top.
All right, well, I wanted to point out on the FAQs here, one of the things that you're going to run into fairly quickly, and if you're not familiar with exactly these 2 concepts right here, you're going to be frustrated. And so make sure that you understand that the delivery products do not always arrive at the facility on time. This is part of the challenge, okay? It is a built-in educational feature, and it creates some of the challenge that you have to deal with. So understanding that it's there and how to deal with it is very important. Be sure that you check that out. Okay, it's the second FAQ, and it really makes a difference understanding that right off the bat. Now, Mike, what did you want me to look at?
Well,
user guide?
If you click on user guide, yeah, go ahead. And then you scroll down. Everything, the whole table of contents is there. So everything is online, and Steve showed you the help ticket. You know, if you have some questions, if you run into a bug or what looks like a bug, please send us a help ticket. We have been running this now for about 4 years. There's been a lot of folks who have used it. So we think in the FAQ there is a notice for one bug that we do know about, although it doesn't happen very frequently, but it's there. So pretty stable piece of software, but if you're having trouble, when in doubt, check out the FAQs, check out the Getting Started, make sure you know that material. And I think in about a week or so of, actually, Frank, you used an analogy a while back. You said it's sort of like learning to do a line dance. In other words, missteps stand out prominently, and I'm being a guy when I try to learn how to any kind of dance, it's intensely awkward, self-conscious. But when you stick with it, and especially when it's something simple, and SCM Globe is actually very simple, all of a sudden you get it, and then you're going to be focused on the supply chain problem, which is much more challenging actually than the software itself. So that's the first week you're going to feel a little overwhelmed, but if you go through the getting started in the FAQs, you'll figure it out, and by week 2 you're going to start to feel like, hey, I get this. This is almost fun.
And so there's one last thing here. We have a blog. It has a series of articles on it that sort of give you some interesting insight into supply chain management and some of the uses of it, some of the utilizations, some of the ideas. This is a student's presentation here. So there's a lot of different perspectives here, and so just for further information regarding supply chain management, you may want to read through those. Are there any questions?
Well, this is Frank, and I'll just add one closing comment from my perspective. We got about 2 minutes before 8:30, and that is the whole approach for this within ASCM 629 and in similar other classes that are using this software, but they're doing different models. And of course, you look at the frequently asked questions or the background information for those other models to get the information about those. The way it's structured in ASCM 629 is that there's a discussion thread specifically for SCM Globe each week where students post their results, share their frustrations, identify issues that they've encountered. It's perfectly okay in that discussion thread to say, I don't know, with the expectation that this is really the whole class is doing a group project, and the entire class is the group as opposed to the class being subdivided into several groups that are competing with each other. So if one student has a bad experience or doesn't know what to do, post that in the discussion thread. Hopefully other students have gotten over that hump and they can give you some guidance. They can share some of their results. You can compare with yours, and through that iterative process, everybody will learn a lot more about the nuances of an effective supply chain, and that's exactly the purpose of this whole exercise, is learning basically how a supply chain works and some of the complexities, even in a relatively simple one, that it takes to make it function effectively and efficiently. So that's my 2 cents. It's 8:30 right now. Steve or Mike, if you got anything else you want to say, otherwise, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap. Good night.
Thank you very much, Frank. Good night.
Thank you.